Hello, and welcome to Seeking Heaven, the near-death experience and other phenomena. I'm your host, Tamara Calder Richardson, a multiple near-death experiencer and spiritually transformative experiencer, as well as an evidential medium, Christ Chandler, and Starseed. And today we're having a very exciting guest, and I want to tell you a little bit about her. But beforehand, subscribe, like, tell your friends, share. This is an episode you don't want to miss. Let me tell you a little bit about our guest today. I've gotten to know her. She's an incredible person, very enlightened, and very much so a part of this ascension movement. So pay attention today. You're going to love this. Now, we've got a couple other episodes we've done. Please don't miss them. So today's guest, let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about her, and then I'll bring her on, is Washeila Sananda. Now, she is known as a galactic shaman. She's also an embodied ascension trainer, consciousness life mentor, as well as an activator of your spiritual gifts. She's an author and host of the Alchemy of Ascension Summit and YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe to her channel and also sign up for the summit. She'll tell you more about that later. She's going to tell you more about her journey. Today, we're here to speak about her journey. And so let me bring her on. Hello, good to see you, Washeila.
Hi, Tamara. I'm so happy to be with you again. We have so much fun together. So thank you for this opportunity.
I wanted to go into when you stepped into being a shaman, how that, because you're a galactic shaman, and then how the light ships, the activation started. And I know that we've talked before off camera about, and I'm glad you explained it, the ultra versus the, extra dimensional beings or whatever it may be, because there's also beings in etheric realms. Some people might consider angels, but then there's also ones that are interplanetary, which you might have been connecting to with the frogs too. I would like to hear about that. Because then that even makes more sense with the shamanistic, because there are beings in the earth. Mm-hmm. There are beings, in the ocean. There are beings, which you're going to talk about that next episode about aquatics and Syrian water beings. But we don't want to just look at it as the grays or they even have flesh and bones. Some are what you would consider more etheric. So being a shaman, that encompasses all those things, correct?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And ultra dimensional for me does encompass the inner earth beings, all of the different dimensions of reality. Yeah. So in receiving the name Washeila on that incredible land, the shaman that I was traveling with was actually a walk-in. And I'm sure that your viewers have heard the term walk-in, but it is a spirit that comes into another being's body. This was a temporary exchange. I did not know that at the time, but for 3 years, I got to be with the shaman, and he was a direct walk-in from the divine, from source energy, actually from the family of Sananda, which is also what Jesus was from, that same collective, because Sananda is a collective of consciousness, just like the Christ consciousness, And so he had come in direct from that Sananda lineage of Christ consciousness. And what I didn't know at the time too is he was my twin flame. And I've learned since that we were supposed to be doing this work together, and he was not able to get a physical body. He was spontaneously aborted 13 times, lots of 13s in the story. 13 times he tried. And by the time, I was getting older, and he's like, okay, I got to figure something else out. And so, and some beings, when there's a certain frequency, it's just not compatible. And that's why spontaneous abortions can happen accidentally. Sometimes it's just not an energetic match and very difficult for a human woman to carry. So he was able to come into a man who had basically drug overdosed and needed some time out. It's the person that leaves. Now, there can be temporary walk-ins like the one that I experienced, or there can be complete soul exchange walk-ins. But the one that leaves gets amazing benefits. The walk-in that comes in takes care of their unfinished business, wraps up their karma, and then
Their
they get to
health.
start with their own mission and then take that forward. It's a great benefit to all parties.
Yeah, and many times they heal their body because the
Oh yeah.
vibration, they
Oh,
can't
yeah.
be in a body that's gooey. They have to
Yeah.
fix it. So
Yeah.
they get a healing. The drug addict is no longer a drug addict. I
Yeah.
mean, they get there is benefits, but a lot that's very, I mean, controversial to some people. But the way I look at it, that it makes perfect sense. If someone is off the rails and they feel like that I'm not doing well myself, then a higher level by permission, um, being can temporarily, usually I find it's temporary, don't you? It's not always
There are
permanent.
different there are different ways it can happen. There's the soul braid, which is where they both stay. And they both get to work together. There's
Yes.
the soul exchange where one goes and the other comes in. And then there's the temporary walk in where one comes in for a short period of time, long period of time. Now, my twin, that same energy that came in, however many years ago, 20 some years ago, he was walked into that body, was trained by his mentor, was able to get back and then integrate into that body. And he came and found me. And then we did this journey together to Kauai. So all along the way for 3 years, and this was in the late 90s, before there was internet and cell phones. I mean, it might have existed, but I didn't have access to them. It was like traveling with the internet of spirituality. And of course, I was already like, I had awakened, but I was so like, I had this voracious appetite for understanding the divine and consciousness and spirituality. And so anything I wanted to know, he would just instantly bring it in. All I had to do was ask the question and he could tell me the answer on the spot. He never had to look anything up. He had direct access. So for 3 years, I was being trained in this way. We would do spiritual work constantly. We did, he taught me how to open portals, how to cross deceased beings through, how to read energy, how to see people's past lives, how to see, multidimensionally, how to work with the multidimensionals, how to meditate deeply, how to contact the galactics, how to create a column, how to guard my energy. It goes on and on and on. And
Oh my
while I
gosh,
was,
it's amazing.
I know it was so much fun. I mean, it was really, really living. It was like living in 5D. Although we did have our issues in relationship to really, high energy beings trying to have a partnership too. We had a daughter together. He's fathered my firstborn, and so that brought a whole other dynamic in. And yet, it was so powerful what I was getting trained in. It was like 10 lifetimes crash course of spiritual shamanism and galactic connection in 3 years. So it was just from the time we woke up in the morning till the time we went to bed at night. He also did a lot of Native American trainings and rituals. We did sweat lodges. We did lots of prayers and working with the elders and we worked with Kahuna while we were in Hawaii. We just so much beautiful work, the lineage, not just the galactic lineage, but of course the earth lineage and beings as well. And it was amazing. And so it was so filled up. There were starships and light ships all the time coming. Like one time there was a massive one. We lived in a little house above an organic farm in a valley that went off to the ocean. There was this massive light ship that was the size of the entire valley, pretty much. It was just huge. We were driving home up the mountain. We lived on top of the mountain. And I'm like, I think there's a light ship right at our house. And as we were getting out of the car, we're like, oh my gosh, it's right there. And luckily a friend of ours was also arriving at the same time. So we had we had someone else there to corroborate our story. And we just went out on the deck and channeled it and I was just bathing in the frequency. He was channeling words, what it was saying. And then when it was done, it just went up and connected with other light ships and they all flew off together to the ocean.
Oh man.
stuff like this constantly.
Oh,
So it was
beautiful.
magical.
Oh, very magical. And that's one thing that fear does not serve us, everybody does not serve us, because this was a beautiful, highly evolved spiritual experience that you were in a state of gratitude, and you were like, you were milking that, you appreciated it. And I think that so many of the things we could experience is just ourself holding us back instead of just allowing that. And because I think that this there's a magical world all around us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to say it wasn't easy. All that, like there were things, it was magical, but I had to deal with a lot of stuff and a lot of myself and get my mind out of the way and get my emotions out of the way. It was a great training. And sometimes it was tumultuous, it was, and we butted heads a lot of times in our relationship, especially when it came to parenting. We had really different ideas about what that looked like. But it was, that's part of the process. No matter where you are on the journey, I don't want anyone to think, oh, that's great for you. It was all easy and perfect. And no, I was doing my work the
Right.
whole time intensely.
Well, absolutely. And I think a lot of people don't realize, they'll see spiritual teachers, and we both are, and that might be something that was in the contract a long time ago, but to actually own that and be that, you have to go through a lot of difficult times. You have to learn a lot of these master lessons you have to learn, which is not easy and difficult. And I think that we had talked about this before, that spirituality, a lot of people think, oh, it's going to be great. I'm like, no, actually, you're going to have to get rid of a lot of stuff, go through a lot of things you don't want to look at, so you can come out on the other side and be more improved and be the 2.0 version of yourself. So I totally get that. There's no way you can help someone else unless you can help yourself. And so, a lot of people that are spiritual teachers are brave, because they have to go through and examine and look at their own stuff. So that is amazing. And the other thing is, I love what you pointed out, is it used you for 3 years, you had vast amounts of information. Not only was it given to you, but you were able to receive that. And it's a two-way street. And that there are people that study, I don't know, their whole life or 30 years or whatever it may be. But when it's time for you to receive, you can receive an abundant amount of information and teachings in a very short time and get it in advance. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah. When I think, you touched on courage, it takes courage and tenacity. Just getting the information is one piece of the puzzle. Then it's implementing and doing the work to receive it and examining your beliefs. What do I have blocking the ability? If there's like, let's say you want clairvoyance or a spiritual gift, what is in you that doesn't believe you deserve it or doesn't believe that that's something that you can have, then you get to dive into that and work through that and let that block go and transform that in order to activate that gift within yourself. And that's just an ongoing part of the process. So part of that experience was receiving the information and then doing the work to practice the practice.
Yes. And now you're doing so many things. So one of the things that you are doing is that you're having this, the Alchemy of Ascension Summit that I'll be speaking on there as well. Tell everybody a little bit about that, and then we'll have the links below how they can get in touch with you.
Absolutely. So I have a summit series and also a podcast called The Alchemy of Ascension. This is my 6th season. Each season, I interview wonderful people on a certain topic. The topic, or the subtopic of this season is exploring expanded states of consciousness. And so I have various people talking about their experience with expanded states, as well as giving teachings and delivering transmissions and activations. So Tamra is one of the speakers for our season 6. It goes live on September 18th through October 5th. And we are going to be doing so much fun stuff. Well, there'll be daily interviews, but there will also be some live panels and live streams and opportunities for you to really interact with the speakers as well. So if you're interested in that, I think, Tamra, you'll put the link.
The links will be below, and sign up. And so everything will be below. Sign up, subscribe to Washeila's channel, and all her information will be below. And be sure to also, we've got a couple other episodes where you talk about your memories of being a water being or an aquatic ultra dimensional, as well as the ascension process and why it's important. So stay tuned and also see these other 2 episodes with Washeila. Look, thank you so much for today. You're always a delight, and you just blow me away. You're so fascinating. So thank you.
Thank you, Tamara. Love being here. I love being with you. You're
Oh, me too.
amazing.
You are. Thank you so much. Much love. Please subscribe, like, and make comments, and support this channel by becoming a member. Thank you for your continued support.